Hello, lovely year ones, and welcome to our final day of our remote learning with our parents at home or whoever you are working with, you're grown up. That time has suddenly come to an end and we will be back in school from Monday. So one more maths lesson to go. Let's make it a really, really good one. This here says we made it. It's Friday. Not just a normal Friday either. It is the Friday. That is the Friday of the weekend when we are back in school. So let's get going with our maths learning today. So first of all, I want you to tell me what you know about these shapes here. Maybe you know the name of them. Maybe you know some special words to describe them. I want you to pause the video now and tell the person next to you what you know about these shapes. Excellent, well done, welcome back. Now I'm going to remind you of some vocabulary that we've used in school when we've looked at shapes. We looked at the word sides. How many sides does the shape have? Corners. How many corners does the shape have? The word straight and the word curved. Straight means a line that goes straight from one point to another, so straight sides like this, and curved means that it bends as the line moves. Okay, so what I want you to do is pause the video again and tell your grown-up something about each of these four shapes. That includes the words sides, corners, straight and curved. I want to see your key vocabulary being used in your full sentences. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so today's lesson, we are looking at patterns. So we're moving away from thinking about 2D and 3D shapes, and we're now thinking about just 2D shapes and putting them into a pattern. Now we've looked at this a lot in Foundation, and we have looked at this at the beginning of year one as well. So I'm going to get straight in there with my pattern. This isn't just a random pattern that I'm creating, it is a repeating pattern, which means that the first lot of shapes is then repeated again and again and again and again. So first of all, I'm going to make a one-step repeating pattern. I've gone for yellow, red. Okay, so that is the beginning of my pattern. So just to remind myself, I'm going to put a little line around it, a box, so I know that is what my repeating pattern is, and I want that to repeat and repeat and repeat. So then I can go back to the beginning. Oh, my next one is yellow. Then my next one is red. So I've done my pattern again. I'll start from the beginning. Yellow and red, etc. Now, I don't really want you to focus on colours today. You could say something like yellow triangle, but for me, today isn't about the colours, it's not about sorting. Today is all about what the different shapes are and being able to name the shapes. So my preference is that you say triangle, circle, okay? So when you're doing your work today, that's what I want you to focus on. I wonder if you could tell your grown-up the rest of this pattern, how would it go? You might like to even draw this out if you want to. Okay, so one-step patterns, pretty easy. I'm going to move on now because I think we should practice a two-step pattern. So that means I've got three shapes to begin. So I've got one, I'm going to do rectangle, rectangle, square, I think. Okay, so that is my starting pattern. I could put this box around it to remind myself of the starting pattern, or I'm going to really challenge myself and I'm not going to put that there, I'm just going to remember it. So I've got three shapes in the beginning of my pattern. I'm now going to repeat it. Rectangle, rectangle, square. Now remember, when we've spoken about this before, we talk about how sometimes it seems like a bit of a song or a rhythm as we're doing our patterns. So, for instance, it could go rectangle, rectangle, square. Rectangle, rectangle, square. And that will help you to remember what comes next. Again, I want you to pause the video and put down what you think comes next. For our last pattern today, I'm going to really challenge myself. I think I want to do a pattern with 6 different varieties of shape in it. So I'm going to start with 6 things in my pattern to begin with. So I'm going to go rectangle, triangle, circle, circle, square, rectangle. Okay, rectangle, triangle, circle, circle, square, rectangle. And again, rectangle, triangle, circle, circle, square, rectangle. Now it's quite tricky when we have a set of shapes that start with one shape and end with the same shape. But we need to remember that when we come across these patterns, we are taking what our pattern is and we are repeating it. So that means that our first shape is a rectangle. So my next shape, when I do it my second time, will also be a rectangle. What I want you to do is pause the video and see if you can finish the rest of this pattern. Okay, welcome back. So if you have done that, congratulations. What I want you to try is having a go at making your own pattern, whoopsie, making your own pattern with using lots of different shapes. I'm going to do one more. This time I think I'm going to do 5 different ones, and I'm not going to make it as tricky as the last one because I'm not going to end it with the same shape that I started it with. Okay, so here I've got 5 shapes that make up my starting pattern. I'm going to take these 5 shapes and it's as if I'm printing them here and here and here. A repeating pattern needs to repeat at least 2 or 3 times, okay? So I want you to make sure when you're doing your repeating patterns that it is repeating 2 or 3 times. Okay, so here is our in focus for today. Have a little look. Here we've got a birthday card and there are some shapes on the birthday card. We've got a line of shapes here in a pattern and we've got a line of shapes here in a pattern. What I want you to do is write down in 4 sentences what you notice about the different patterns. What can you say about this pattern? How can you put that into a sentence? What do you notice about this pattern? Now this pattern is all circles, so what do you notice is different about this? That is your in focus for today. And then I want you to have a go for your second task to draw different patterns using coloured shapes of your choice. Now the first time that you draw your coloured shapes, I want you to have a go at drawing them freehand. That means without drawing around anything or without using a ruler. So for instance, I'm going to go triangle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. And I haven't used a ruler for my triangles. I haven't used anything to draw around for my circles. I could maybe use like a milk lid to draw around for those. I could maybe use a ruler for these. Okay, I can use different colours if I want to. Now, that is your first thing I want you to do. The second time, I want you to challenge yourself a little bit more. See if you can complicate your pattern by maybe changing up the colours more often or changing to have more shapes in your original pattern before it repeats. Then, with this task, I want you to try drawing round something so you end up with a perfect shape, or you can use a ruler if you would like to, okay? So for this shape, I'm going to go triangle, circle, circle, square, and then I'm going to repeat that again and again and again. Have a go, really challenge yourselves at these. For the last time that you do this, I want you to try and see if you can make a 4 or 5 part pattern, or if you can even do some more. Okay, for an optional task then, what I want you to do is see if you can create a repeating pattern out of things that you can find in your garden. So we've been looking at springtime at the moment. What do you notice about your garden that you can maybe take some things from? Maybe you've got a really big bush and grown-ups will be okay with you taking some leaves from the bush. Make sure you check first. Maybe you could get some strands of grass because your grass is starting to grow back nicely. Maybe you need to go on a bit of a walk and pick up lots of different leaves and twigs and grass and random things that you might find outside on your walk. If it's not possible to go for a walk or your garden doesn't have any greenery in it, instead try and use things around the house. Maybe you could use cutlery or things that you have multiple sets of. Okay, have a go at creating your pattern. And once you have finished that, you finish the last ever maths remote lesson of 2021. Fingers crossed. Have an amazing weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.